Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR365.com and podweather.com with the latest on the tropics. Taking a look over the Atlantic Basin today, what do we have? Well, we got a lot going on, which is what you expect in August. We have four systems of note. The first, of course, is Tropical Storm Colin, very disorganized, sitting here a little bit stalled out, not really moving a whole lot. Bermuda's here under the tropical storm warning, of course. It is expected to pass very close to Bermuda. Elsewhere on the map, you can see we do have Invest 92L, which has flared up a little bit. It is moving into land, though. However, there does appear to be a twist with it, and as it moves towards the Bay of Campeche, I'd watch that one for potential development. Right now, a low chance, though. You can also see 93L in here looking a little ragged, but there is a twist to it, and there is a chance that as it moves in a direction like that, it could potentially become a system. And a wave moving on screen here, which is likely our next invest, already has good curvature with it. We will talk about all of these systems. Of course, let's go first to the one most prudent, and that is Tropical Storm Colin. As of 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Colin was at 29.0 north, 66.4 west. Winds were 40 miles per hour, so it's weakened down to a minimal tropical storm, gusting to 50. It's nearly stationary, and 1,008 millibars on that pressure. You can see it is expected to slowly begin to move north again, and by Sunday morning be just to the northwest of Bermuda, and then by the time Monday rolls around, start zooming out into the northeastern Atlantic, and we won't have to deal with it anymore after that. Now, taking a look at the latest visible satellite imagery of Colin, you can see elongation east and west of that low-level circulation has definitely gotten an oval shape now from side to side, which is an indication of a weakening vortex. So its future here is in doubt. Does have some good thunderstorms blowing up this afternoon, though, and there is the opportunity for high swells and gusty winds as Colin approaches near Bermuda. But really the story with Colin is the first long-track system of the season. Doesn't look like it will become a hurricane, but we are in the heart of hurricane season and heading towards the peak, which is still over a month away, which means we still have a lot of time for potential activity out there. But again, Colin looking very ragged. That's an exposed weakening vortex there, not looking good at all. Elsewhere in the tropics, we do have 92L in here. The model's taking it into Belize and then across the Yucatan into the Bay of Campeche. You can see the general thinking here is that it will likely move over water for at least a day and a half, 2 days. And with the twisting and turning it showing on satellite here, there is the opportunity that this could become something. You see right in there, there is definitely a rotation. And it did appear to have a little spin to it before the convection came back. So this is one I'd watch. We've seen many systems like this in the past, which have moved across the Yucatan, and then when they get over water again in the Bay of Campeche, they have strong convection develop over them, and very quickly sometimes jump to tropical storms of 40, 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. And I wouldn't rule out this system already getting that look to it, moving over land, weakening, coming out, blowing back up, and trying to become a named storm before it impacts mainland Mexico once again. The second invest we have out there is Invest 93L. Now this thing had been forecast to move straight out. It's still moving on a good northwestern course. If it kept that for 5 days, it would end up here in the Canadian Maritimes. However, it is expected to eventually bend a little bit west and then back to the north and northeast, but still thousands of miles from Lesser Antilles, Bermuda, and of course New England here to where you wouldn't have to worry about it. But nevertheless, we're going to keep an eye on it because it is a system that could become a tropical storm. And taking a look at it today, you could definitely see there's rotation in there. If this does become a system, it might be one of those depressions that we see pop up and then go away. I remember a tropical depression in 2004, right after Hurricane Ivan, that was forecast to become Gene, but it never did off of Africa, and it moved up to the northwest much like this. And of course that season had many landfalls in the United States, but you can still get systems like this that are very ragged and weak. That system in 2004 never got a name. If it had, it would have been Gene. Of course, Gene was a different story that we had to deal with in Florida. Now here's the upper level winds. You can see they are very favorable out here in the eastern Atlantic and the central Atlantic. You can see not so favorable here for Colin. It's in the wrong place. In fact, it might be coming up on a little bit here of opportunity for strengthening before heading out, but right now it's not looking good. On the other hand, you can see this rotation in here with the upper level shear here, and the upper level winds are very favorable over 92L. Once it gets back over water, I'd watch that. Also in the western Gulf, favorable. You can see it a bit easier here on the shear tendency maps, to where you can see Colin's in a pocket here of low wind shear, but still getting hammered from the southwest by that upper low. You can see the Caribbean very favorable. Our area where 92L is very favorable. Estelle in the East Pac, semi-favorable. I'll show you Estelle in a sec. And off Africa, very favorable for any potential development. Now that's not the only system off Africa we have. I did want to note we do have a tropical wave that you can see on here. Even though the convection has waned, watch right in this area here. Watch for a rotation in that direction. And watch this loop, and you can see that spin right in there. See that? This is looking like a good twist in here, this little curly Q. And this should probably move straight west, I'd guess, as this system kind of pulls up. It's not strong enough to, ride the coattails. Colin's going to head out. This system's probably going to get pushed back west and then head out. This one could come under the radar in a few days, and we might have to deal with it. The models are not too aggressive with developing it. However, with a twist like that, and it being August, it definitely bears watching. So this is likely to be 94L if I had to guess. It'll be our next invest, no doubt. Now I did want to touch on Estelle in the Eastern Pacific, 11 a.m. It was at 17.1 north, 107.6 west. Winds were 50, gusting to 65, moving west slowly at 9. 1,000 millibars expected to not become a hurricane and then weaken and just kind of drift around by the time Wednesday comes around. And if we take a look at Estelle right now on the satellite imagery, you can actually see that it is blowing up a little bit there. It's looking a little interesting, but nothing too bad. As a matter of fact, the cloud tops are rather cold. If you look at that, it is showing up some gray there, but not a whole lot of intensification expected with Estelle in the Eastern Pacific. So that'll do it this time for the Tropical Update. I'm Mike Naso from IPR365.com. Stay tuned. This hurricane season is just getting rolling.